Thank you so much for joining us today on Connect and Collaborate, where we come together each day to introduce you to our network of business and community leaders and to discuss important issues that impact business in Colorado and the region. I'm Tammy Schaefer, your on-air producer, and today we are connecting with RideTonite. This is a very cool entrepreneurial effort. I'm going to talk with Pablo Martinez, founder of RideTonite. Pablo, thanks for being here.
It's a pleasure.
And we're talking with Callans. She's the director of marketing for RideTonite. So thank you both for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. So tell everybody what your idea for RideTonite is. It's not just an idea. You've already got an app that's running, and as we were preparing for the show, you said it's still a pretty soft launch, but I think people are going to be really interested. Pablo, tell us about it.
Yeah, of course. RideTonite is a platform for bars and restaurants to use transportation as an incentive. It's a mobile app that's browser-based. It's on Android and iOS, where you commit to buying food or drinks at a bar or restaurant, and the bar pays for your ride to or from the bar. So you prepay, let's say, $20 or $30, and you'll instantly get a $5 to $10 Uber voucher for your ride there or your ride home.
Wow. So you can get on the app, know where you're going to go out to eat or drink, and prepay before you even get to the restaurant?
Yeah.
Oh, that's very cool. So do you need to know what the entire bill is going to be, or are you just kind of making a deal?
No, it's each bar has their minimum required prepayment.
Okay.
We give them full flexibility. So some bars will be if you commit to spending $20 at the bar, it's like buying a coupon, a $20 coupon, where once the payment goes through, you'll get a free ride. So it's kind of like so the bars gets the guaranteed revenue, and you're probably going to spend more than $20 between your friends on food and drinks at a bar anyway. So it's kind of like a win-win for everyone.
Tell me how this idea came about. We're seeing the Uber and Lyft and those kinds of services coming about. I imagine you kind of put it together that's a great way to reduce any drinking and driving, incidents, fatalities, and things like that. But to be able to put it together to serve both the consumer and the establishment.
Yeah, of course. Well, I came from a technology background, and in the past, 2017, I launched a carpooling platform for students. I launched it with Florida State University Parking and Transportation System. We did a pilot over there, and I was working on it, and it didn't go as planned. But one day I was interviewing a friend who had another app that was focused on bars and restaurants. It was a live streaming service, so you know how the vibe of the bar is before you get there.
Yeah.
So he decided to interview me to figure out issues with his platform, and one of the questions was, what is your number one issue when deciding where to go out? And for me, it was transportation. If I drive, I cannot drink. If and I have to look for parking. Not everything's walking distance. Right. And if I have to pay for an Uber, it's an additional $10, $20 I have to spend throughout the night.
Right. You're either adding on parking or adding on your Uber. Exactly.
Yeah, and bars and restaurants do great deals all the time. They do happy hour, they do late night happy hour, they do all types of promotions. They're on Groupon. But transportation is something that nobody's providing. You can buy food, and a lot of restaurants will give you free delivery, but why not deliver paying customers to the restaurants?
A little twist on the concept.
Exactly. So, and there's already a huge platform. Uber and Lyft are dominating everything. So if we can leverage those existing networks to create a promotional platform for transportation for bars and restaurants, I thought it'd be a really cool thing to get into.
Yeah, that is a great concept because, like you said, you're going to be paying for parking or an Uber, one or the other. So if you can work that voucher in, and then you get your how do you build those relationships with the bars and restaurants then? Because how do they see the voucher? Is that a good thing for them because they feel like they're getting a commitment on here's the dollars going to be spent?
Yeah. There's a bunch of things. The number one is people who aren't driving will spend more money on drinks.
That's
because they can drink comfortably without having to worry about that. They'll have guaranteed revenue because people are prepaying for their drinks. and they get to market to people outside their usual area. So if it's a bar where a lot of people are planning on drinking, and they're not going to be drinking and driving, obviously, their range is more limited. You're not going to pay a $15 Uber to the restaurant, but it's kind of like a way for them to market to people outside their usual range.
I want to talk a little bit about how, as we talked about this concept coming together, and you had started working on launching this in Miami, and must have been a quick pivot. You ended up here in Denver, and you got Carly to come and join you from Chicago. So Carly, what did you think of this concept that made you buy in to just up and move to Denver?
I just thought the idea was super cool. Having a way to get to bars that was free and accessible and cheap and safe also was just something I thought was awesome. And I saw it. He posted actually that he was looking for someone to come work for him, and I talked to a bunch of my friends about it, and they're like, that's a great idea. I would use that right now. I would download the app. And that's when I realized I need to move to Denver and I need to do this. This is something that's going to take off.
So we're talking about RideTonite, and you can go either on the Google Play Store or the App Store on iOS and download that right now. It's available.
Yes, it is available.
I like this too because I think we in my generation, looking at your generation a little bit, we think you're on your phones a lot and maybe not even getting out. So just the opportunity to let's get people in a place together. That I think that's just a great benefit of looking at the whole system. People have many reasons to not go out, right?
Yeah, of course. I mean, when we think about our competition, it's drinking at home, having a party, like the happy hour across the street. So yeah, I know.
Well, I didn't mean to denigrate a generation or anything like that. But I think we do see that, because everybody jokes that, it's hard to get you to look up from your phone on Christmas morning. So
yeah, the other day I downloaded an app that told me how much time I was on my phone that day,
I've heard about that.
It was like 4 hours. I was like, wow, I'm.
Well, you're actually doing pretty well then, because the first person that told me about that app was way worse. So that's interesting. We're talking today with RideTonite. Pablo Martinez is the founder, and Carly Callans is the director of marketing, and we're going to talk about how they came up with the concept and what they're doing to implement it. Find out how it might work for you. Thanks so much for staying with us today on Connect and Collaborate. Today we're connecting with RideTonite. It is a new and upcoming app, and I'm talking with Pablo Martinez. You can describe it better than I do.
Yeah, of course. It's an app for bars and restaurants to promote using transportation. Customers prepay for food or drinks through our web or mobile apps and instantly get an Uber voucher for their ride there or their ride back.
Great. So yeah, it's getting people home and back safely, and making an incentive both for the bars and restaurants, and you're working with Uber, right? You're connected to it. How does that work?
Yeah, well, Uber has a very big kind of like developer portal. They have an open API where you can connect and create through the app. But how we're doing it is we wanted to make the platform as simple as possible with as little steps as possible. So how it works is you just open it, you pick the bar you want to go to. Each bar will have their own specific deal. Some bars will do, if you prepay $20, you get $5 for your ride. If you prepay $30, you get $10 for your ride. And the goal was to make it as easy as possible. So you don't have to download anything. You can just use it on your browser. And it's 3 steps. You don't have to create an account. You just enter your name.
No account or anything.
Yeah. You just enter your name, your email, so you get your receipt and your credit card info. Once a payment is successful, you will get, on your receipt, you'll have a little button where you press it and it instantly opens up your Uber app and redeems the code. So it takes less than 45 seconds from start to finish.
Wow.
That was our goal, was just to make it as easy as possible, because
low hurdle.
Yeah, because when you're starting off, it's sometimes really hard to get the initial conversions. And if you have to get somebody to download the app, connect their credit card, connect to their Uber account, connect their social media accounts, and then people get lost.
Not worth it. I'll just call the Uber.
Unless you really know about it. But
right. So that's great to be able to start from the browser and they can test it out, and they're like, that was great. I'm going to do this again. Now I'll download the app, and you can do that either on Google Play or the App Store.
Yeah.
Yeah. So great to have both platforms. That's great. How much effort went into this? Because I know you told me that you went to school for entrepreneurial business.
Yeah, and information systems.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So
So
this is right in your, as they say, the ballywick, right? So you said you wanted to make it easy to use. I would imagine the tough part is getting bars and restaurants to sign on with you.
Yeah, that was the most.
Is that the most complicated? Only because you have to convert them.
That's what we thought initially. We thought the hardest part was getting bars and restaurants to sign up. That was particularly hard before we had any bars and restaurants.
Sure. Yep. You get a couple on there. So okay, this makes sense.
Yeah, this is working a little bit, but yeah, that was difficult because you kind of have to go through a chain of command. And initially it was like, okay, I'll go talk to them. I'll go to the bar, and then you talk to the bartender, and the bartender will maybe, if you're lucky, they'll forward you to the manager, and then the manager will, if you're even luckier, forward you to the owner. And that was extremely difficult because
well, and then it gets lost in translation as it goes from one person to the next, and somebody might think it's a great idea, but by the time it gets to the person who's going to make the decision, you have to start your pitch all over.
Yeah. And by the time it gets to the person who's making a decision, if it even gets to the person who's making a decision, the idea is different. It's distorted. It's a game of telephone. Yeah.
But now you have 5 Denver bars and restaurants that are working with you, and like you said, now once you have those, it's easier. You're talking with 5 more next week, right, Callie?
Yeah, I've gone into a bunch of bars, and I've showed them the app, and I've showed them that we have other bars that are on our app and are excited about it, and it makes it a lot easier for other bars to sign up. They feel that they can trust us, and they see that these other bars that are successful are using us, and they want to be a part of it. They don't want to miss out.
Yeah, they see the value.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Pablo, then what's the next step? When you finally get the person, the decision maker, you, like I said, you probably have to do the pitch all over again.
Yeah.
But once you're there, they seem to be receptive?
Overall, yeah. The feedback we've gotten has been better than we expected. It's been great. People are actually answering our emails, which is definitely something that in the past hasn't really been.
Well, and I want to point out, when you say in the past, you haven't been doing this all that long. You conceptualized the idea in July.
Yeah.
So I think to be this far, that's a big pat on the back if I could reach across the table.
Thanks.
Don't you think? So yeah, how's it going from the conception of the idea in July to where you are now? What were your biggest obstacles?
Yeah, the biggest obstacle, well, first it was I have to make this system as simple as possible, because there are tons of other competitors. Even if nobody's doing the exact same thing, we compete with Groupon, we compete with every single deal. So it was I'll build a great app, I'll build a really simple and really useful platform, and people will use it. And then you realize, okay, so like selling to bars is really difficult because we have to get through this like chain of command.
Yeah.
And then, well, thankfully I was an exhibitor at the Colorado Restaurant Show in October.
That made a big difference then.
Which, yeah, it was great because we got awesome feedback. I was able to talk to bar owners. I was able to talk to Colorado Restaurant Association, which has been awesome for us. So that was one of the big steps. And then the hardest step is kind of like the issue that we're facing right now, which is getting to the customers.
Right. Because they need to hear about you first of all.
Exactly.
And like you said, one of the bars, can I mention? Can we go ahead and plug all these? You got Rue Bar, which I know that's popular. Stoney's is huge, right?
Yeah.
Grind, Kitchen and Watering Hole, I know that's popular. I'm old now, so I don't have a first-hand relationship with the Monkey Barrel and what is that? El Noa?
Yeah.
Great Mexican restaurant, huh? So having those places, and you said one of them was integrating RideTonite in their tables.
Yeah. So I think that's the thing I would love to talk about, because that was the most difficult thing. So once we launched with Stoney's, Grind, and El Noa, and my issue was, I was like, okay, so now we can just advertise it. It's a great deal. Why won't people use it? But people don't know about us.
Sure.
People don't know about us. You have to, it takes like credit card transactions, and usually for new apps, for people to come from like an ad or something they saw, conversion costs are like $10, $20 for somebody to make a transaction. And I was like, well, if we want 1,000 users just to test to see if it works, we're going to need a lot of money. And that's when we kind of like froze, because it's also more expensive if you don't have that many bars on the platform, because you're not just marketing to those specific customers, you're marketing to all of Denver to go to these specific bars that they may have not heard of.
Okay.
Which, how, like...
So you definitely want to get more and more bars and restaurants on there for their recognition and your recognition, so it's reciprocal all the way.
Yeah, and we have to kind of like, our new approach is we have to work with the bars to let the bars help advertise for us and advertise their promotions. Like if they were advertising for a happy hour deal, because this is kind of like essentially what it is.
Okay.
And initially we were just focused on, we were just focused on, okay, we'll get the bars and we'll advertise. And yeah, the competition is way, way, way too high.
You have to be fast on your feet to redirect and pivot, don't you?
Yeah, of course.
A little like, if I knew my sports analogies, I'd figure out which one pivots real quickly like that. But yeah, that being on your toes and knowing what to do next, I think the fact that the bars can advertise for you, get your RideTonite name on the table so people know that that's a concept they can participate in, that they can plan their night out with that ride home in mind. And let's I think we mentioned this in the first segment, but so you prepay at least an amount of what you're going to spend at that bar. And like you said, once you commit to spending $20 or $30 in a bar, and you know your ride home is taken care of, you're going to spend more, right?
Yeah.
Great concept.
And you'll probably bring some friends, because not that many people use it to go out alone. So it's a better deal if you split it.
Oh, good deal. Yeah, get everybody going in the car. Yeah. You got it. So you have, like I said, the 5 bars and restaurants now. You're going to be hopefully bringing some more on. I know you've got some appointments set up. You mentioned that there's different, and we'll talk about this as we get into the next segment. We'll take a break in a little bit, but those obstacles, like you said, you have to keep pivoting, and you think once I solve this issue, we're on our way. That's never how it is. It's
not even close. And I think the hardest thing is dealing with your emotions on a day-by-day basis.
Oh?
So once you think you went over this obstacle and you realize there's a even higher mountain just straight up ahead, it's sometimes easy to just get in like a spiral of just questioning everything, and like just managing your good days and your bad days. That's the most important thing. Managing your emotions and moving forward. I think that's
well, and I want to point that out, because Pablo, you're all in on this. This is your job.
Yeah.
You're committed to making this work. So yeah, every time there's an obstacle, you have to figure out how to overcome it.
Yeah.
That's a big commitment.
It's a pretty big commitment.
But it sounds like it could go a long way. This could really be a great thing. I like the concept of planning for people's safe ride home, and helping the bars and restaurants do business in that way too. I want you to think about your biggest obstacle. We're going to talk about that next as we come back from break in this next segment. Can you give me a hint?
Okay, yeah. Well, it's definitely customer related, but...
Okay, yeah, customer related, I bet. Yeah, because now you've got to get everybody to recognize your name, logo, what you stand for, and convert them into customers. So that's next. Stay with us. We're talking with RideTonite. Pablo Martinez is the founder of RideTonite, and Carly Callans is the director of marketing. We'll be talking with them more this hour. Stay with us here on Connect and Collaborate. We're so glad you're staying with us today on Connect and Collaborate. Today we are connecting with RideTonite, this great concept of prepaying to wherever you're going to eat or drink, you kind of get a voucher for your ride home through Uber. So we're talking with RideTonite. It's Pablo Martinez is the founder of RideTonite, and Carly Callans is the director of marketing. So we're glad to have you both here. And I'm going to point out, you are both young, starting this out, definitely an entrepreneurial vision. It's really exciting. So we were talking, Pablo, what is the biggest challenge? And you said it's definitely customer related.
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
Our biggest challenge right now, we talked about it in the latest segment.
Yeah.
That every single time we reach an obstacle and we overcome it, there's always something bigger.
There's one more.
Yeah, there's always one more. And right now it's building a brand, because we're not just a business to consumer company. We're not just a business to business company. We're a business to consumer. So we were just 100% focused on the B2B side, and now just getting people to use our platform and trust our brand is our number one focus. When we first launched about a month ago, we did our soft launch with a couple of places, and we realized that our competition isn't just somebody who's doing the exact same thing. It's everyone who's doing some type of deal for a bar, the happy hour across the street, the party, everything. And if you're basically selling like discounts for 3 bars in Denver, you have to compete with the other 900 bars that are also probably doing discounts. And especially when you're an app that people haven't heard about because you just launched.
You're just new, yeah.
And you look at an ad on Facebook and you're like, well, should I trust this?
Yeah.
Am I going to get ripped off? Is this going to be so that's been the biggest obstacle, I think. It's understanding that it's not just a business to business company, and it's not just a business to business to consumer company.
So having those businesses that you're creating vouchers for, they're kind of vouching for you in return by just having your app in their business.
Yeah, and I think it's taking a different approach. It's not just sign up to us and we will send you customers. It's use RideTonite as a promotional thing, like you would do a happy hour. You advertise a happy hour, advertise that you are providing an Uber through our platform. So we give full control over their promotions to the bars.
Right.
So they can choose what they require their customers to prepay.
Okay.
And how much they're willing to help out with their transportation. Additionally, we also let them add conditions to their promotions so that maybe it's only valid on certain times, because maybe you're already really packed on Fridays at 8 p.m. and the platform works better if there's not
too many people using it at that time or what have you.
And
go ahead.
Yeah, and I think the other biggest obstacle is just emotions. And understanding, because we were talking about it, how when you're, at least in my experience in entrepreneurship, it just completely uncovers everything that you're terrified of and everything that you're...
you figure out really quick what scares you the most.
Yeah. And when I started, I was like, okay, I love the creative aspect.
Yeah.
I loved building it. I loved, everything about building the product. But when it was time to turn in my project and show it to the world and start selling and start pitching my idea to bars and restaurants, I was terrified. And that's why I brought in Carly.
It's sort of my role to go to bars and get customers, and that's what we're doing from this point forward, is getting customers and getting more bars.
Yeah, and I can see where the biggest thing after you get those bars and restaurants on board is making the customers know about you, know what it is. And that's why I like, as you explained, you can start by just doing it from your browser on your phone, and you don't have to sign up for the app until you know it's something you like using. Yeah. He nods.
Yeah.
Sorry. So, what's the next big step?
I think our next step is just getting the platform running well enough that the model is fully proven, and we have like a significant, well, doing our real like big marketing push from like a bar standpoint and our standpoint, so that we can prove the business model and we enter our growth stage. And there's where we really should look for an outside investment, because the whole company has been bootstrapped by me.
Yeah,
so
definitely, like I said, that's commendable reaching out to do that. We can find RideTonite. It's RideTonite.com, and it's the varied spelling of tonight.
Yeah,
TONITE. You'll find it.
Yeah,
you
of
put in
course.
RideTonite, you'll find it, and you can use I like the way the website's laid out. You can use our web app instantly, or you can download it on Google Play or the App Store. So those options pop right up as soon as you're logged in. Tell me about any experiences in trial and error. Like what did you think this is definitely going to work, and but didn't quite?
Yeah, well, right now we're using a different method for verification.
Okay.
We're kind of starting to test out, because our soft launch was just for testing, just to make sure that everything's working perfectly. And how it worked was there was like a merchant side for the platform,
Okay.
where the bar manager would just, you give them your name or order number, and they just tap redeemed, and they verify it through another mobile app or like a browser-based web app. And that gets a little bit complicated with bigger establishments that
Do you need that server to remember to hit that button or something like that?
Well, they just have to install it or download it on their phone.
Uh-huh.
So in order to redeem it, you would have to take out your phone and tap that. The
Right.
bar would have to redeem it from their end.
Yes.
And right now we're doing kind of like just to make it easier, because we got a little bit of
I went and talked to a bar, and they said, I don't think my waitresses and waiters are going to have their phone out, and they're going to want to click the button. It's too many steps, and I'm not sure we can commit to doing that.
Interesting.
And so we said, we'll build another way for them to do it. All they have to do is click on the customer's phone and click redeem there, and so they don't have to have any mobile device of their own.
Oh, wow.
So it's super simple for the bar to use and super simple for the customers as well.
Oh, neat. So yes, definitely, like you said, you solved one problem, you got to solve another one.
Yeah.
So it just keeps going. What do you think how big can this get? You're testing this in Denver now, and only Denver.
only Denver, yeah.
So how big do you have to be in Denver to move into other cities?
We'd like to get at least 20 bars on
yeah.
board. I think that's kind of like our lower limit to when we should start expanding to other cities. But there's really not that big of a limit, because there's no real limit to how big this can get.
Sure. That's what
that's
what you're banking on, isn't it, Pablo?
Yeah, but that's the hard part about tech and entrepreneurship in tech, that for the most part it's mostly, you can't just have like a small business in the tech world. You either fail 95% of the time, or you make it really big and go, yeah, or it has to be big, because it's hard to survive like a small business in tech, which it's a little scary because
right. But I can see many ways that this can grow. If you're getting, like we said, there's 5 establishments that are already working with RideTonite, and you can find them at RideTonite.com. It's Rhubarb, Stoney's, Grind, Monkey Barrel, and El Noa Noa. So if you're going to any of those tonight or tomorrow night, check out RideTonite, right?
yes.
So we have a little bit of time left in this segment, and I can see that could be big growth if it just keeps growing and you get that recognition. You could develop into many other cities, and that, I imagine, is your end goal.
Yeah, right now we're aiming for 1 to 2 bars a week. Like new people
Everybody
on the
signing
platform.
on.
Yeah, and once we start getting real numbers on how it has impacted the bars that are already on the platform,
Absolutely.
I think it'll
because you're
easier.
definitely from this point on, you're results driven.
Yeah.
Yeah, and find out how that works and improve yourself. We're going to talk more with Pablo Martinez, founder of RideTonite, and Carly Callans. She's the director of marketing for RideTonite. I want you to check them out for us at RideTonite.com. That's RideTonite.com. Thanks so much for staying with us today here on Connect and Collaborate, and we are connecting with RideTonite. I'm just going to give you the website right off the top of this segment here. It's RideTonite, and it's spelled Tonite. So you remember that. It's catchy. And Pablo Martinez is the founder of RideTonite. Carly Callans is the director of marketing. So we're glad to have you both here. It's a great concept to work with those bars and dining establishments to kind of create a voucher that helps the patrons with their ride home via Uber. So, Pablo, thanks for being here, and let's talk about how ideally this would work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, ideally, the platform, it should be kind of an open platform for bars and restaurants to promote using transportation. Instead of doing happy hours, if you plan on spending money at my bar or my restaurant, we will get you here or home. So right now, kind of like on our marketing growth stage,
Sure.
We hope to reach 20-30 bars in Denver before we start thinking about expanding to new cities. And there's plenty of different ways to kind of like reach our goals. Right now we're talking to bars individually, pitching to owners and getting them on the platform. Our ideal scenario is, and the bars also help out with their advertisements, so that they promote the app within the bar. So they tell their customers, tell people who are, to tell their own customers that, hey, so like we will pay for your transportation if you are planning on spending some money here. But ideally, this should be kind of like an automated thing where people already recognize it.
Yes.
We would love for this to be a discovery app where RideTonite, you've used it before, and now you want to check out a new place that might not be.
Which new bar is signed up with RideTonite? We'll check that one out next.
Yeah, and also in different areas. Check out different areas. So maybe you live in Cap Hill, but you want to go to Cherry Creek, or if you want to go somewhere outside your usual list of bars, but you don't want to go there because if you have to drive, you have to look for parking, you cannot drink. But with RideTonite,
that's a great point.
It lets you kind of discover new areas in town. It's a figure out a new area where you usually not.
We'll have to hook you up with somebody from the Colorado Tourism Office then and get that their brochure.
yeah, definitely.
Perfect. And then what's the next step once you have people aware of RideTonite and knowing that that's an app they can use, that they can trust, and they know they're going to get a little voucher for their ride home. Like you said, kind of a discovery app. People know that there's different ways you can get that recognition and get the word out. Yeah, what are you thinking of?
Yeah, so if it's going to be a discovery app, ideally we obviously don't want to just stay in Denver. We want to reach new cities so that customers of RideTonite, when they reach a new city and they're visiting, or someone who's visiting Denver but RideTonite might be in Chicago, they're like, well, where do I go tonight? Because most people who are visiting for 1 or 2 days don't have a car and they don't really know how to get around. So we're planning on helping, like starting to advertise with hotels, with Airbnbs, so that kind of like the tourism or people who aren't from Denver, they'll see an ad in a hotel or an Airbnb, and they'll download the app and be familiar with it, so that when we expand to a different city, they already know about it. So it kind of just
those hotels, those Airbnbs, that would be phenomenal because they are the people who are here without cars. So you do need the ride to figure it out. And then as you get more and more bars and restaurant establishments signed on, that's exactly what they're doing to go explore the city they're in. Yeah, fantastic. Tell me. I know you're bubbling here. Just let it go.
Yeah, and also right now it's a manual process of onboarding.
Okay.
We have to we go to the bar, we talk to them, we connect their bank account so they can receive payments. But what we want is not to have to go to the bar and talk to the owner. I want a bar owner to hear about the app or use it,
Right.
and be like, hey, I want to be part of this platform,
Yes.
and have kind of like an instant onboarding process where they just log in, because that's much easier on expansion.
Well, if they
Instead
start
of-
hearing about it from
Yeah.
their customers, then your work is cut out for you.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
that's a goal, and expanding to different cities with having people in each specific city to manage the relationships, because I think that's the most important thing. Managing the relationships with the bars, making sure that everything's running smoothly and that the platform is running smoothly. So, yeah, right now I think ideally is just to continue failing a little bit and building a
Well, that-
stronger and stronger platform.
Yes, and that's how you learn and figure out what needs to happen next. And as you described, and I just want to go over this again, you can go to RideTonite.com and you'll find that your Uber can be on the house, and you can click right to the web app, so you don't have to download it until you know you love it, right? And then it's available both on Android and your iPhone.
Yes. Yes, and yeah, the idea was you can try it, you can use it without having to create an account. All you need is to pick the bar that you want to go to, anywhere that has a good deal. Your name, email, so you get your email receipt, and just the payment, just a credit card payment.
Yeah.
And if you want to use it again, you can choose to remember it, so you don't have to enter it every time.
Well, and I just that too, and to point out that we're talking about using this app, and I just want to clarify, because we did in the earlier segments, that what you're doing is you get on RideTonite and decide what bar you're going to, kind of commit to what you think you're going to spend there, and then you get a voucher for your ride home.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
fantastic concept. We love that, and I just see so much opportunity for growth in this that I just want to.
Yeah.
I just want to give you wings. It's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, until the next obstacle or next thing we have to tackle,
Which
and
you'll overcome.
We'll overcome it. Yeah,
Yeah.
We'll learn from it.
So, can you tell us a little bit your story that you started this you were working to start this in another city,
Yes.
and then decided to relocate to Denver. Denver's a great place for any entrepreneurial effort, isn't it?
Yeah. It's
People are really supportive here.
It's that and the bar scene in Miami.
That too.
In Miami, it's a lot of nightclubs, a lot of fine dining, a lot of restaurants, but everything's really, really spread apart. They have 4 breweries, and Denver has like almost 200. So it's just a completely different atmosphere.
Right. Was that part of your research to come here?
Yeah.
Or did you just want to come to Denver?
Well, Denver's a
Both.
great city, obviously. So.
But I can see a great place to launch this, like you said, with all the breweries, and then the events and activities. You can get involved with that and put something together with a big event that's going to have lots of people, whether it's a hockey game or the Great American Beer Festival, right?
Yeah, and just we're open to different opportunities. Our main focus is just making sure our standard version 1 of the app is working perfectly and people are happy using it.
And how do you think it's working now? Because it is up and running. People
Yes.
can use it right now.
Yeah, you can use it right now at RideTonite.com.
And it's pretty simple. Put your credit card in, make that commitment to what you think you're going to spend.
Yeah, and you go to the bar, just give them your name or order number, and you'll get your prepaid tab once you get there.
So there's not bugs on the consumer end.
Not that we've experienced yet. I mean,
So try it out and
obviously,
let us know,
obviously
right?
at the beginning, you're our guinea pigs. But
And we appreciate you.
but yeah, if you have any issues, we have a live chat, so I will get a message instantly if you want to ask any questions, and I'd be happy to answer them. So
Pablo Martinez is the founder and product development head for RideTonite. Great concept, and I just want to encourage you, because as we said earlier, you're all in. This is your job. You're going to make this work. You kind of don't have a choice, do you?
Yeah, right. It's not, I'm going to have to.
And Carly Callans is the director of marketing. What do you see are your biggest challenges going forward?
My biggest challenge is getting people on, as Pablo talked about, is getting customers on board, and that's what our next step is, and I think we'll be pretty successful in doing that. And once we start doing that, I think the ball will just start rolling, and we'll be set for the future.
Such a great concept. Check out the Colorado Business Roundtable Facebook page and tell us your thoughts of, would you use this? What do you think? Which bars and restaurants do our listeners want to go to and check this out, right?
Yeah, of course. And
Yeah.
if you have any suggestions for bars and restaurants that you'd like to be on the platform, let us know, and we'd
or
be
any bar
happy.
and restaurant owners, just go ahead and give
Yeah.
Pablo a call.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Well, we really appreciate you sharing your entrepreneurial effort, your dream, and this concept with us. I think it's going to be a great a concept and a real it's a real service too. So we appreciate your efforts there. Thank you again, Pablo Martinez
Thank
and
you very
Carly
much.
Callans.
Thanks for having us.